Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today's session. This session is about how do we build an agent leveraging the AgentCore Browser Tool and deploy in the AgentCore runtime. We are seeing this as part of our learning series, AgentCore. And if anybody is constantly following this meetup, this is our sixth or seventh session of it. And this session is about supercharging agent using a built-in tools, which is a browser, okay? Browser built-in tool. We have seen multiple sessions. If anybody not seen the sessions before, go ahead and have a glance at our previous session, DataOps Labs. And yes, we have a playlist for Agent Core. Around 6 videos are there. We all started with a runtime. If we go look at our playlist, we all started with the runtime. Then we have started how do we develop the Agent Core, leveraging the MCP tool from the AWS. From the Kiro, we have built an agent with simple instructions, and even we built and deployed. Okay. And the third session, we have touched upon the memory. The memory is one of the critical component. We have seen how to use um, a session memory, use session memory, and how do we keep the context memory, and how to do the semantic memory. Also, how do we do the episodic memory? Okay, we have done the session. Then we also touched upon the code interpreter when we are running a skills or when we are running a agent, any kind of deterministic code. How does it automatically provision the sandbox? And it called the code interpreter tool, and it'll provision its sandbox and execute and come. It's very important. It is very safe to use it if you have any kind of deterministic code running in your agent code, or if as part of your workflow or as part of your skill execution, if there any code, you can use a code interpreter. Then the last before session, we were touched upon the gateway. How do we use a gateway? We built a gateway using agent core and deployed. The last session, we have touched upon the agent core observability, how we can monitor. We can use a different framework, but still we can use our agent core or GenA observability from the AWS. These are the sessions we have covered. And this is part of our last session, browser in action. I want to conduct the session a little bit earlier, but I want to come with a better demo. And I hope I am came with a very good demo for you guys. I'll give you a quick walkthrough. So get set your context and what are we going to do? Okay. So what we have done is we are using a Claude code, and in the Claude code there is option called record skills, and where we can simulate what, let's say I'm booking a make my trip or you want to do something, you can just go click on the browser, it understand what you intend and it will record all the skills. Then we can run that skills to automate it. So take an example here. I have two forms. Okay. Okay. There is a form I need to fill. Let me see. Okay. It's a clear form. Let me clear delete all. Okay. So I have a spreadsheet. This spreadsheet have around 20 members or 22 members, and they have first name, last name, email ID, phone number, and preferred address, and t-shirt size, and the event date attending. So what we end up in doing is we need to read this information and write, or just copy paste this information for all the forms. If you look at it, it has all the information, all the form to fill. We have to do it one by one, and it will update your backend. Okay, this is kind of simulation we are trying to do. Think like in your real work life, or in real scenarios, you may have this kind of form filling options. So use the Claude code to record the skills. What I did is I just did for two and recorded and said, go ahead and do it for everything. And Claude has created a reuse of the skills which ran through all the records in the spreadsheet and filled it. It created a Playwright script, very deterministic code it created and executed it. It's very neat and clean. I have documented that information, everything. If you go through this video, I put this video also as part of this meetup details. Please have a glance at it. Once I did, imagine if you want to do it again, the same sheet. Sometimes people are keep updating the sheet or keep updating the form. When you are running the skill, it will end up in running it again and again. So what does it do is it'll validate the D2 check. And what I did, whenever you're entering, it will create an entry in a DynamoDB so that in case of you're running it again, It'll check on the DynamoDB. If the entry is already exist, it won't go and do it again. That's a kind of simulation we have done. It's the second lab. Here we are not using any kind of browser tool because we are all testing from the local. Okay, that's where I want to test. How do we run it in an agent core runtime? And here we are not using. If I go through this one, this is what I'm trying to explain. In agent core runtime, we build it and test it. We can use the tools like a browser, code interpreter, and knowledge base. And the browser tool is at a high level. It's just a serverless. It's a tool. Whenever you are invoking a session, it is creating one micro VM. And when you whatever the execution done, it will have a session information documented in their logs where we can go and check and replay it. Okay, and it will store your browser profiles. If you want to have a credential, you can create a browser profiles and keep this information induced. Okay, it can run up to 15 minutes, up to 8 hours. The long batch jobs also run through the single sessions. Okay. Two-way. As I mentioned, you can run this skill or run this task as a deterministic playwright script, which uses CDP to execute. The other one is you can use a agentic manner where you can use a Amazon Nova. I have done this session last year of how to do this one. Uh, you can use that Nova to do this execution. Both the way are good, but if you know what are the form to be filled, the best way is use the skill, and the same Claude can provide you with the playwright script, which is a reusable manner. But imagine that I have added a new entry in this one. Okay. Imagine I added something called food option here. But in the sheet, I will not have what is the preferred food option. But the LLM, when it start filling everything playwright script. If it is not able to fill, I'm going to say fallback option using your um, LLM. I'm using an no act for it. Okay. So imagine if somebody selected non-vegetarian. Okay, non-vegetarian, it automatically understand what would be their food option in this list. Maybe chicken pizza. Okay, so it automatically selects. Here we can use the LLM because in a real time you have some forms in a front end. Suddenly some changes happen. You may end up in writing a whole lot of scripts or whole lot of automation again, which you can prevent using this kind of approach. Or this is a lab 3 and this is a lab 4 I want to show. Okay. And the lab 3 is I have done a testing and I'm packaged that playwright script and making a agent core runtime and run it. And I'm using agent core tool to agent core browser tool to run this playwright script. And we can schedule it using event bridge, and we can have a lambda function which can, whenever the call goes, it automatically trigger the agent core runtime, and the agent core runtime will check the sheet and if before calling the browser runtime and check whether this entry is already in a DynamoDB. If it is there, it will exit. If it is not there, it will go and run this playwright script. Playwright script, what does it do? It will just open the browser, agent core browser, and run it one by one. And all the information will be in the CloudWatch logs. This is what we're going to simulate. If you all the information in the GitHub and put this GitHub information there, you can test it. Even you can test it locally also. Um, this is a playwright script. If I go and check this playwright script, this is a playwright script I'm talking about. It uses a Bedrock Agent Core tool, importing the browser client. And this is the questions we are filling. And this is the click box for everything. It's a just clear playwright scripts. Okay, I not done anything. I just use a Cloud Code, which is created a Cloud skills, which recorded the skills created the playwright script. And in this agent code, this agent.py is there. The agent.py is where it is going to, no, this is for agent.py, it is to call the tool. Okay. There is the entry point. 1 minute. Okay, runtime handler. This is runtime handler is for the Lambda function, which is invoke the agent code. So I already deployed. Okay, if you want to deploy, you can git clone. And okay, this is a Lambda. This is a Lambda runtime client. duplicates. Yes. So if I go here in the sheet, there is an option where you can check make browser test and it will check whether the agent course it once you started the credential, you can do the make browser test. I can try. Okay, city tab 3, make browser test. Okay. And you can run locally without if you want to test the code whether working as expected, you can test locally before deploying it. Once it's done, you can do the deploy and it'll keep the environment variable and you can invoke and you can watch the CloudWatch logs. This is the steps you can run through. Very important thing, make sure you're giving a right permission, the browser session permission to the IAM role run to this one. Let's go and test this one. Okay. 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 And before going there, I want to check any form. Good. No updates is here. You see there is no response. Now let me go to the AgentCore runtime. And at the AgentCore runtime, we have two runtime. One is a lab 3, another one is a lab 4. The deployment is already done. And this is the entry point. Okay, let me invoke the lab 3. So what I'm doing is I'm going to test this. Get the credential, then AgentCore runtime, US East, and then runtime ARN, and I creating a session ID, getting the session ID information, and I'm giving this as a payload because I can give all the information as a payload, all but it's just for the quick demo. I'm giving this as a payload. What is this payload? It is the sheet, the Google sheet, and this is the form I need to fill. I'm limiting 3. I don't want all the entry to be done. I'm limiting 3. Okay, let me check how do I run this. When rather than invoking via Lambda, I'm just invoking directly. Let me enter this. Agent core runtime. ARN. Agent core runtime 3. Account. Setting the environment variable. And agent core runtime, US runtime. This is the right runtime. Okay, this is the runtime we have, right? So for lab 3, already deployed. Control F. Yes, this is the runtime, correct runtime. And runtime session ID is there. 1 minute. Something. Agent core ARN. Let us try one by one. Agent core runtime. Region. US. Agent runtime is this, correct? And it is creating a session ID. Yes, runtime session ID is getting created. And content, yes, we are giving the content and accept format as a JSON format. And the file path, we are giving a full file path. Okay. And then we are keeping this information as a typeout. Something is wrong. Okay, yeah. Just give me a minute. Let me check it out. What is stopping us to go? So let me share. Actually, this is a runtime. Let me run this again. Before going there, I just want to show you how I have deployed the agent core YAML file. So this agent core YAML file have all the information. This is the entry point of what we are doing it. So this will have the code information. So where the code is very simple. So we are using a agent core runtime, and this is the entry. The what does it do is it will take the information as a payload, whatever we are giving, which is our form, and it will read the sheet and it run through the form one by one. And if there is if there is anything is missing, it will keep us notified. Okay. If anything, if any of the entry is already in the we have done it, it will just say it is duplicates. Okay. Let me run this agent core invoke runtime US East 1, and then we have X starting this runtime. We created this session ID, and then it's starting the demo. Let's run this. When I run this, it will go check this information. First three information as sheet. So if I go, these are the three information in the sheet, and it created the all the three entries here. Let me do one thing. Let us create five. Yeah. Or let's clear this. Okay. What we can do is let's clear this. Delete all this response once, and we can start from here again. And then we can go, it will wait for this. Then we can go and check the logs. Checking the logs is a fun part. Okay. Oh, it will say the duplicate entry. If I go and check the logs, if I go check the log says temp lab. So I'm storing the temp here. Cat. So it says duplicates. It's just say duplicates because whenever we are doing is it is updating our DynamoDB. Where is our DynamoDB? Here you go. Lab 3 has a 3 entries. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete 3 entries again. Action, delete, and run again. Fantastic. Now I can go run this CLI again. So this time there is no duplicates. It is supposed to give entry. Yeah, the entry started, and you can see the same entry name here. Let us go and see the active session from our AgentCore runtime. So this is the entry point, and you go to the browser, and browser will have an open session AgentCore, and just now the session got stopped. So take this information, the last browser session information, you can go. We have seen this in a detail. How do we check this GNA logs here? But let us go log streams, last 30 minutes. And you can see there is an invocation happened. Every session has, okay. Just go to the agent core, and then you can have a last 30 minutes information, and you can check on the built-in tools. And it started at 3 sessions, particularly browser tool is the session it started. We went through opening the session and go to the session. Ends with S. Okay, still maybe open, but it takes some time to reflect, but let us open. It is open one of the session, there is no error. Click on this information, and you can see the trace ID. We have run 3 runs, so it taking 3 information. If you look at it, it not even use any of that token. There's no token cost in this because we are just writing the Playwright script. So here you can see the 0 token cost. So it just executed this information. There is a way we can see the replay. I'm just going where I can see that information. Code agents model indication. No, it's not in. Tracing. Total span. It just started the browser session and exited. Somewhere it has that information about the screen recording and everything. Unfortunately, I don't know where to check it, but session summary, session 3 details. Yeah, this is a session. The last session we have taken the screenshot, right? So action, traces. Okay. So this is what we can see. Let us go and test the next use case. There is no model invocation because we are not using any model, but we are going to use it now. Let me check how do we set the next lab. So you can see the 3 entries were added into the sheet, and you can also check in a database. It ran through and updated. We have cleared the database. Now if you go and you can see clearly, there are 3 entries. Now we are going to switch back to the lab 4. Okay, lab 4, the differences we have here. If you look at it, this form has a food option, but in the sheet we don't have food option. It is going to check how it is going to fill the food option by using the Novact LLM. Let me go through it. So for the lab 4, I'm just checking my DynamoDB. I think it was there. And I'm checking the forms. This form is nothing is there. Let me go check my command runtime. This is the runtime. That is the runtime. Okay. So the runtime it is using is BXN. Let me go to the agent core, lab 4. Let this be session be there because we have to agent core runtime. So lab 4, control F. This one I just taken multiple time to make it ready. Okay, runtime session. It's good. Now let me run this. Same thing. I have a, let's check how many entries I'm giving the, I'm checking, this is a file, lab4, test run is there. Under the lab4, cat, test run. So I'm limiting 4 entries for this particular sheet. Let me try this now. Okay, I'm trying this. I can check the out file, 200F. Okay, if you look at it, it is checking the first option, which is more of total 4, submitted 1, Sneha Singh menu, which pasta? Because let's see what is the Sneha. How come it's selecting which pasta? Let us try multiple entries. Let us go and check the form. Okay. Just checking Raj. Raj is good. And both are gluten free. If it is a gluten free, it's selected option called tofu. Okay. It's a good sign. So it is still executing. Let us go to the logs will take some time. Let us go and check the logs. Let us check, go to the browser because it still use the browser and only the fallback will go to the LLM. So go to the browser and understand the active browser session. Okay. This is the browser section. Take this browser session, go to the observability, CloudWatch, go to the model invocation. Any model got invoked in the last 5 minutes. Oh, it used the NoAct. Okay. We have to use we are using a NoAct model, but still go to the Bedrock Agent Core. This is the lab 3 agent. Sorry, it's the lab 4 we have taken. And the 3 session is there. There is no error. Let us see whether we can increase the number of entry. Yeah. Test runtime.json. Just run it. The 3 will be duplicate will be printed, but it's still continuing. So capability name is form fill. And it will go to the traces. Let us take the latest one. It's still executing. Let us go to the CloudWatch logs and check. CloudWatch logs. Lab 4. Log stream. Wait a minute. AgentCore. Yeah, this is the latest logs. Let us go and check the logs. See, this is what I'm saying. Okay. Um, I can now see the top of the page. I can now see it, which means previous was scrolling. Now I can see the question of email, first name, last name, but the meal choice question is still not visible. Okay. Then it is finding the meal choice question and it is thinking, the LLM is thinking, and then it is finding, it's selected the right meal choice for it. And it will go reason it and fill that information. See, if you go, this is the reasoning it is saying, okay? It is saying it is a agent core runtime. It is a IC chicken. See, they may contain a dairy like a cheese, and the chicken pizza contain a chicken, which is not a vegan. I'm selecting the veg-based product, so I choose a vegetarian. This is completely coming from the LLM. This is what I'm saying. It is the reasoning is coming from the LLM. So now we can go and check 14 entries and you can see the percentage of the food selection. So vegan is more. The selection of vegan is 35.1 percentage. You can see the 35 percentage is around the vegan. Okay. So this is what I'm saying. You can use a mix of hybrid, both LLM and deterministic option. So in this lab, we are able to create a Strands agent for the Bedrock agent core. And you can see this information in the lab 4. I go to the lab 4. I am using a proper, if I go to the event, sorry. If I go app.py, it is built using a strands where I'm using the Nova model. Nova. Okay. I'm using a Nova Act. I have said that taken the model. I'm using a Nova Pro and using the Nova Pro model, I'm able to reason it and answering it. Okay. You can see this information. Check this code. This is what we are trying to doing it. Okay, same thing. Only thing is in a agent core we are using a strands agent, and it try to run the playwright script. If it is not there, it do the playback. It will use the fallback of this Nova Pro model and reason it and fill the form. Okay, and that's all we want to give. So three brains. First, we started with the deterministic. Then we use the Nova Act, and we can have a guardrail using if needed. Okay. So I have tested everything and given a sample code. Wish guys thanks for joining the session and have a try this out and share your experience where you can apply this logic and get a benefit. Have a great day.